Hi, I'm Eric, and this is Jason, and we're back with another super awesome movie review. Today we have our very good friend Clinton Fetters with us, and we're going to be talking about the 1965 black and white film Faster, Pussycat, Kill Kill, directed and co-written by Russ Meyer. This is another deep dive into this realm of exploitation movies, and I think it's a slice of cinema goodness. Let's hear about the plot first.
It's got everything. Go-go dancers, fast cars, fast money, fast karate. Well, that's important. So you got these three gals who are out racing in the desert, just having a good old time. They end up racing this other fella who they cheat out of a victory. Needless to say, he gets whacked when he whines a little too much about it. And of course his girlfriend, well, they gotta kidnap her because can't have her narking. I don't know why they didn't just kill her in the desert too, and then the movie would have been 10 minutes long. But they end up finding out that out in this desert there's this ranch where this old man has a bunch of money, and they want a little piece of that action. So they go searching for a way to get in there and get his bucks. And of course, you end up with a little bit of a little rendezvous, a little bit more mayhem, a couple more murders, more fast driving. Like I said, this movie's got it all.
Yeah, it certainly does. Clinton, what were some of your thoughts going into it?
I really didn't have a lot to draw upon other than I had heard people talk about it. It was it's been on a list of mine for longer than I'd care to admit. So I'm glad to finally watch it. But when I started it, I realized right away that it wasn't something that I could just passively watch. I actually had to pause it. Like I don't believe any credits initially. It's like the narrator drew me in right away. And with this, this warning about these women and their violence, and then immediately goes into these violent cuts at the go-go bar of them dancing, and I knew and then right after that it goes into a lot of one-liners, a lot of what I guess I would maybe expect out of a movie, that would be considered exploitation. Sometimes it doesn't always have the most substance, and so that, I was ready for that. I was okay with that, and could have watched that because it was fun. There were some things going on. Initially just the ridiculousness of. The bathing, it's a gas, that was, I was just like, she did it twice, when, what was her name? Billy. Yeah. When Billy, anytime she liked to take showers, maybe 2 in one day.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think it was the same day, and it's a gas, every time. Yep. That was great. But I was fine with all that, but I realized, not that far into the film that there was actually that was more to maybe even to draw you into the film, but there was a lot more to it. There was a story that was underneath it, and that surprised me quite a bit.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the poster for this film and thinking that this movie, it's going to be a wild ride. Was it Velma?
Varla, yeah.
Varla was the main antagonist, leader of the go-go dancers, and she was a very buxom gal. That's very front and center on that movie poster. You see an ass-kicking kind of Amazonian type gal who's driving around in these fast cars, and she's not taking any shit from anybody. Right. She's going to get what she wants.
Mm-hmm. That drew me in right away. The karate chick.
The karate.
Have you ever gotten in like a fist fight or anything?
Me?
Yeah.
No, only karate fights.
But that's funny because that's what I thought of when I saw it, and I don't know why this popped into my head, but I imagined if Eric was, I can't imagine him in a fist fight,
right?
But if he was taking somebody down, it's the chops,
100%,
karate chops, like
they come at him.
I mean, I don't know, it fits.
It's interesting, yeah. It's interesting about that character and that actress, Tura Satana, I believe, Japanese American actress. She actually studied Aikido and karate.
Yeah.
And she did those scenes. She did her own stunts in those fight scenes herself.
Yeah. Russ asked her to add like that into, like that
right?
wasn't part of it. Yeah, he was like, "Hey, could you integrate some of that into it?" And she's like, "Oh yeah," because I mean that's like her thing.
She's got a very fascinating backstory.
But tell us, So what
you
were saying,
and I had never seen it before. I'd never really heard of it. You sent me a link, and then I ended up clicking on the poster and like, I got to check this out. This is gonna be a wild time. And it it's a launching film for that type of cinema. Like you get into that, and then there's all like you can go down the blaxploitation route. You can go into like the motorcycle gang movies. Like all that stuff really kind of opens up for you. I know there's some like Hell's Angels movies out there that could be kind of interesting, and they're kind of in that same vein of fast driving, fast action.
Yeah. Are you saying this is a good starting place?
Good start. I think it's a great starting place if you want to get into a, I want to check out an exploitation film, but I don't want to see something like, like Hobo with a Shotgun or Black Dynamite or something like that.
Yeah.
You want it's palatable. I'd say it's probably, aside from a couple tiny things, I'd say it's PG-13 by today's standards. It's no more violent than a Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, if that. I don't know.
Yeah, for me, like, before watching this movie, I had a conversation with one of my friends about it. And he made it seem like this is just going to be boobs, boobs, boobs. Boobs galore. And don't get me wrong, you get that. You get that in various shapes and sizes, and it's very nice. It adds a lot, I would say, to the enjoyability factor. But so I thought, okay, this is all it's going to be, and there's not going to be much more, and that's it. But as you guys are saying, I totally echo that. There is more going on here.
And I think it even passes the Bechdel test. This is a movie I'd watch with my wife. Like I don't feel uncomfortable about this film. Sometimes exploitation films, it's like show nudity for no good reason other than the director's like, well, I kind of want to see some boobs right now, so let's put some in the background as somebody's getting cut apart with a chainsaw.
Dolomite, anyone?
Yeah, Dolomite. But that's unnecessary here, and the women have more on their minds than just hooking up and talking about guys all the time. When they are talking about men, it's how they can swindle like the old man out of his money or something. So I think it's a film that's oddly enough known as kind of a feminist icon.
Yeah.
Look into that. That's a whole other conversation.
That might be this conversation.
Might be this one. It might be. Since we are the voice of modern feminism here on the podcast.
Wow. Well, somebody had to say it.
Somebody had to say it.
Just put it out there.
And we're also fighting for pocket equity. Ladies, you deserve more pockets in your pants. But anyway,
Clinton, we're going to move right along. And I want to hear, Clinton, what about this film worked for you? What did you like about it?
Yeah, so there's no shortage of movies that are in this vein, I guess. One-liners, violence, chestploitation, and this movie had all of those things. But yeah, the story that was laid in, once you settle into that, it almost feels like not a different movie because it keeps returning to all those over the top, sometimes fun things, but especially the I don't know, the acting of the old man, it just phenomenal as far as being a creep and very just laid back. And I mean, he really, this movie, well, and I don't want to get into things that didn't work for me or things that I think could be different at this point, but yeah, that's definitely there's some great things going on there. The choices that the director made have to be the reason why he's lauded in this field, because there was a lot of different people that were making movies like this, kind of like this, because there's a market for these movies, but he was doing that, and I think he made money on every movie that he made too, which is not something a lot of directors can say. But choices like that showed intention in the movie, and that's one thing. I guess an example to me when I noticed this was the train scene, like there was a sex scene going on between the vegetable and. Am I gonna say Billy again?
It's Billy.
It is Billy. I'm right now. Yeah. So the vegetable and Billy gets thrown off by this train coming by, and he's holding his ears, and it's just too much for him. And you find out the reason, which goes right into that plot point. As well as far as the whole thing goes, like that train there was a reason for it, not just to get away from a sex scene that you didn't want to shoot. It played right back into there was a reason why that train went by and why it bothered the vegetable so much, which is a great name.
It wasn't just a plot device.
No.
It had some depth.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things I also liked about it. It would have been easy just to have them go to the ranch and be some feeble old man with a lot of money. Then he has this counter story about saving the girl and him getting crippled by the train, and then obviously his wife. He had this huge son who he lost his wife to in childbirth. So, and then that one of the reasons why he didn't like him, but he kind of abused that relationship with him. So there was a lot of depth there. Not a ton of depth, but enough to keep the story moving. Then you have the other son who's just kind of a do-gooder, wouldn't harm a fly unless he has to kind of guy. And you needed somebody like that to kind of save the day a little bit. Even though he wasn't in the end the one who saved the day, it was the kidnapped girl, which I thought was kind of interesting. She got to have the ultimate revenge, and then ride off into the sunset, so to speak. And then didn't need any more movie after that. The whole story was all about this 45-minute time span in their life, trying to killing and hustling and getting what they wanted. These are independent women.
Yeah. I thought so. Talking about the train and the intentionality and the layers to it. I'm going to jump right on that. Piggyback, as they say. So you were talking about the part with the train and his intentionality. So it reminded me of Alfred Hitchcock's North by Northwest, the scene where Cary Grant and Ava Marie Saint are in the train, and it's building up to a sex scene because there's a ton of suggestive innuendo. So you know where it's going, but they're not going to show it. And instead of showing it, they cut to the train entering the tunnel, which is a great, piece of symbolic imagery. And it plays, Russ Meyer, I think he clearly played off of that. I think it's there.
Using the train to kind of trigger the vegetable.
Yeah, there's no tunnel.
There is no tunnel. It's all train.
It's all train.
No tunnel.
What else did you like?
Well, okay, for me, right off the bat, I liked the black and white cinematography. I like the way you shot it. And you can see it in the poster. It's a very sparsely shot film. I like the angles he used. Low, in front of the two women, often, and then someone in the center of the frame. I mean, great shots, great angles. This man knows how to shoot and direct a movie. I got a kick. Okay, so I actually watched this movie twice in the span of 2 days. So on the first viewing, I will admit that I was pretty distracted by the women. Fair enough, I think. And I was also distracted because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't really know the plot of this movie. So it caught me off guard that she was so sadistic and violent. She was killing this guy.
Right.
So I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know where it was going. I was distracted by the women. But I was enjoying it for kind of those surface level things. The cleavage, the one-liners, all like you said. Maybe not the cleavage. But when I watched it again, I enjoyed it on a whole new level. I think it's great that the three women are the protagonists, and actually Varla's an anti-hero all the way. I mean, she's violent, she's sadistic, she's the alpha. She's calling the shots. I like that all three of the women are strong. They're strong female characters, and they each kind of represent different things. And I think you covered that before. But Varla's the alpha, Billy is the rebellious one, and then Rosie's the submissive one. And that dynamic really plays well, I think.
Yeah.
I think you had mentioned this at some point when we first watched it, that you had detected there was a relationship between Varla and Rosie.
Yeah, I thought maybe that she had a little jealousy.
Yeah.
Rosie did. Varla gets whatever she can get from anywhere.
Yep.
Rosie makes connections and relationships.
Yeah.
They show it.
Yeah.
Rosie watches
Yep.
when Varla and who's Varla with?
The brother.
Oh yes. I forgot what his name was.
Yeah, the brother.
Kirk.
Kirk.
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. That's when they tell us that she's watching, and right, or do they tell us
that's
somewhere
when
else?
it's very overt.
Okay.
There's a great line she says when they're rolling around the hay. She's like, anything you want your cup to fill,
Oh yeah.
to overflow.
That's a good line.
But the second time I watched it, there are things throughout, very subtle things that infer their relationship. Like early on when Varla wants a cigarette, Rosie goes to light it for her. And I think that's something...
She's the number two.
Yeah, she's she's the one playing that role.
Billy's the wild card.
She's the wild card.
Yeah.
So I liked those dynamics. I liked that... okay, we've got the cleavage, we've got the boobs, but I mean... We've also got strong female characters. And, you look at Marvel movies, and they've got the female characters in these outfits with, showcasing their bodies. But oftentimes they don't have strong characters, strong personalities. So this, 1965. And I also thought about...
Shots fired, Marvel.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that's what we do. And Michael Bay, too.
We take shots at Michael Bay and Marvel films.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So it's cool if you like them. I
bet you're wrong.
I like the first Iron Man. But...
Okay, so
you think about the spaghetti westerns of that time and how they portray the female characters. That was one, like Once Upon a Time in the West. Every male character, even the good guy, gets a shot at raping the main woman. And it's insane. And then you see this movie in that same time period by this skin flick director, and he's doing something a lot different.
And the women are kind of in control of their situation. They're drinking, they're fighting, they're racing cars. They're doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
They're not the Bonnie to the Clyde.
Yeah.
It's Bonnie, and Bonnie all out getting theirs.
Yeah, and on top of all that, I was thoroughly and genuinely entertained from start to finish. And I've already seen it twice. I'd watch it again tonight.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
And you mentioned you'd watch it with your wife. I would want to watch this with my partner. I think she'd actually like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because it doesn't look like that kind of movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously there are some things that, they were a little campy, a little cheesy, that maybe didn't really hit the mark. I think in retrospect, some of those are few and far between. What do you guys think about that?
Well, let's go into that. Let's talk about that.
All right. I think that I guess and there's a lot of things that I really liked about this movie, but I do at the same time, when reflecting on, like, hey, we do have these strong, female characters. As I started to think about it more, I realized that while that was great, and I actually think there's a lot of movies made in a similar timeline and similar, maybe would be alongside this movie, that would be much more cringe-inducing to watch now. And this movie wasn't that, but I do think there was a missed opportunity that was actually kind of ties into one of my favorite things about the movie. Is initially I missed this, and I haven't watched it all the way through twice, but I noticed later on in the movie I found out about the old man, and why he hated women so much, his story, and I realized that they actually introduced that story at the gas station. The gas station attendant very quickly, like, I don't know, they gave him like, hey, you've got 3 seconds to say your line, like, go for it, he does say that there, the train, he hates trains or whatever, he that's, and they say that's how he lost his leg. I don't know if it was necessary. It wasn't jarring to me. I actually wasn't really questioning why this son is carrying his father around. Like, I almost just thought, like, his dad's legs don't work anymore, and he's taking care of his father. Like, I almost thought that just made sense without me knowing how it happened. But at that point, I didn't really know how pivotal they were going to be as characters either. So I didn't even notice that the first time. But later on in the movie, when they do tell you in the most succinct way, I think Kirk says it. Is it Kirk who says it later on? Why his dad hates women and likes to inflict pain on them because of I don't know if I should even go into why, but I don't know. Is that too much to say? Why
he tried to save a girl on a train track and it messed him up.
Yeah,
that's not saying anything.
Yeah, messed up his legs. That's why he's in the situation. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. That's why he's in the situation that he's in, and he's developed this. It sounds like he's done it before. He's been bad. There's been young girls that maybe have been killed there, and definitely raped there for sure. And I think he uses his son to carry out his negativity. But I love that part of the movie. But I also thought about that and went, man, you made the story. You have these strong female characters, but you made the story about this old man. And they do start telling you that Varla is like, they say it multiple times, Varla is like the old man. They multiple times they're making this, man, she's just like him. She hates. I want to know, if you're going to have these strong female characters, why don't I know why Varla is the way that she is? I don't know how you could do it in this story, but they definitely gave that we're left going, Varla is that way,
right?
Because she is, and I just kind of wondered, like, man, wouldn't it have been cool? Like, she was already badass, and questionable. Like, she made, she hurts people. She doesn't treat people great. I want to know why she is the way she is, not just this old man who's a creep. I kind of want to know that, because I kind of liked her as a character, even though she was bad.
Yeah.
So I think that's a missed opportunity. For all the amazing things that it does, like, that would have been cool to see. So
I think that the action scenes were so campy that instead of, and this is a small criticism, because obviously it looked like one of those films that was shot on a shoestring budget, shoestring crew out in the desert. Like, it was just a little over the top with the karate chopping, and how is her, like, really slow karate chop less powerful than Kirk, a grown man just punching her straight in the face? Like, any full-grown man hitting anybody in the face is really gonna knock him down. Like, unless you're like an MMA fighter, you're getting taken out. But being punched sucks. But a karate chop to the shoulder, making people like flip around, it's just a little campy for me. That being said, it was fine. It carried the story along, but I kind of like the way it ended, with the redemption story of the kidnapped girl. Gave her the last laugh.
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't go some other way of of Varla picking up all the money they right off into the sunset. I would have thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I didn't have too much I didn't like about it. I found more to enjoy than to dislike.
Yeah. Cool. I think I like, interesting point. I didn't think about that. A little more depth to Varla, because there's definitely got to be a reason why she is the way she is. Yeah, for me, there's not, oddly enough, there's not much I didn't like. At first, when I saw the karate scenes, I kind of felt like you did, but then when I learned that actress actually trained in karate, and she did those scenes herself, and then her own backstory, she was raped as a young girl, and then she trained in Aikido and karate, and apparently she tracked those men down herself and like sought revenge. I don't know.
There's a documentary I want to see about her.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
I
want to see
totally watch that. So I think, I watched the film once, I did that research, I learned all that stuff, watched it again, and so I think knowing that changed the viewing.
Okay.
So, which I'm okay with.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, do you guys have any favorite scenes? Do we want to?
Favorite scene in the film? Oh man, I think that right at the beginning, the racing in the salt flats, I thought that was just a lot of fun. And it got me jazzed up the same way that Death Proof did when they were doing the hood surfing scene.
Okay.
I thought that was just cool.
Yeah.
And I like those old Italian sports cars, so that kind of, that jazzed me up, got me ready to get going in this movie. So.
Yeah.
This is weird that this pops into my head, but I just the scene where the old man, which I forget the actor's name, but he's great. Him talking to the vegetable about what they're going, like he's plotting and like basically telling him like what they're going to do. Like that's pretty chilling to me. Like it just and this is just how they do it. And it felt to me like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre family, right? Like they're there, and this is what they do. Like anytime they can bring in a young girl or something to quench his hatred, makes his legs a little bit. I was just like, man, that is like
and that was
nasty.
Your favorite scene.
I don't know. It was good. He was a good actor. Like just the way that he delivered his lines, like I kind of believed it.
Yeah.
And this is a movie where not every character delivers lines in a way that you believe everything. Like some of them, are just over the top and that kind of stuff. But there were moments in that movie like that. Even from the ladies, but they weren't all of those moments, But that was I thought that was pretty creepy.
Yeah, for me, I think my favorite scene has got to be the lunch scene, because that's a big moment where he they're at his ranch or whatever it is. He's offering him lunch as a supposedly kind gesture.
Oh,
He's got them all there. There's a lot of stuff happening with Varla and Kirk and Varla and Rosie and the vegetable and Rosie, and she's got that great line, would you like thighs or breasts?
Oh, yeah.
Why not both?
Yeah.
And she's getting drunk. There's just a lot of stuff happening in that scene.
Right.
And
I think that was Billy.
Billy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you'd said Rosie. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's Billy. Because she's trying to...
Rosie's looking at Varla.
She's
like
watching,
there's like an element going on.
She's watching Varla
and
come on to Kirk.
Yeah.
And Rosie, Billy is trying to get the vegetables' attention.
It did feel very organic in that scene. Yeah, like just like, wow.
She was chugging whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just having a heck of a time.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to capture that, in a room full of people. So there's a lot. That's pretty cool, yeah.
And the vegetable, can I have some more food? It's just like...
just totally oblivious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like, there's just so much
but
going on
yet
with
he's
each
being
character.
ogled on.
Right,
like, which he
by
doesn't
this
even
really
know.
attractive blonde.
Yeah.
And he just wants more chicken.
Yeah.
And when he goes and lifts weights.
Oh, yeah.
There's two of everything.
That's right.
And a little bit more.
That's right.
Yeah.
That cracked me up.
Yeah.
That's good.
How would you thumb this movie?
Oh, the thumbing. Clinton? All right,
This is your first thumbing.
You're
This
your
is hard.
first thumbing.
Yeah.
You're a thumb virgin.
Just think. We'll give you a little bit to think about it.
Warm them
your
up.
thumbs.
Okay.
Shake them out a little.
Oh man, it's so hard to gauge. I don't know I actually don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm a little torn. I'm actually. Torn.
I know where I'm at.
I know where I'm at. That's okay. You count us down.
All right. Yeah? 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
Whoa!
Hey!
Wow.
The first unanimous thumbing of a movie. This could be the last podcast.
This movie gets better with age.
I feel like we should do a high five and end it right now.
like at the end of Death.
Yeah.